Hello, welcome back. It is June in London, yet it's quite chilly and the sun isn't shining. So I thought today would be a good day to go and do some monochrome photography. Black and white, I'm liking black and white more and more, and I shoot it primarily now. And it's a really nice change of pace when you've been shooting colour for a while to change it up and shoot some black and white. So I'm going to walk around, take some photos and talk about some techniques and some tips for you to shoot better black and white photography. So the first thing when it comes to shooting in black and white, especially if you're usually a color photographer, is when you're going out shooting black and white and you know you're just going to want to shoot in black and white, definitely go out with black and white in mind. Don't bother with the whole color, because usually for me as a color photographer, I go out, shoot everything in color, and then get home, look at the occasional photos that I think might look good in black and white, and then test them out with different presets that I have applied. If I'm going out shooting in black and white like today on the cloudier days, then I know for a fact that I'm going to make sure that everything's set up to just shoot in black and white. For example, my camera is shooting black and white only. There is no color on my screen. I've got black and white high contrast set as a preset, and I can see everything black and white. That allows me to get proper in the zone when it comes to shooting black and white, and I'm not looking for that pop of color anymore, like a lady walking in a red dress. It won't appeal to me as much as it would if I was shooting color. And I'm now looking for tonality. I'm looking for light dark contrast, and I'm looking for shadows and shapes and texture, all those different sorts of things that make a black and white image good, and that's what I'll be going over in this video. But make sure you're shooting with black and white in mind, and this isn't me telling you to not shoot raw, because you definitely should shoot raw, because there'll be the occasional photo that will look better in color, and you don't want to miss that opportunity. So if you've got a camera that can shoot both color and black and white, do so. And yeah, make sure you have it set up so you are definitely looking for black and white first over everything else. So the first proper tip is make sure that there's quite a lot of contrast and tonality in your images. As I said, you're looking for tones now. So when you're shooting black and white, having someone standing out against their backdrop, having a white background, people in dark clothing, or vice versa. There's a person over there that's against a black shot wearing white clothing. It stands out, and you'll see that in your tonality when you're shooting black and white. But you don't just want deepest of blacks, whitest of whites in your shot. The best shots have all of the tonality throughout. So you've got the highest point of white throughout your grays and into the deepest point of black, all in one image. You don't just want to have two tones, you want to have a full range of tonality. And that's where a good range of contrast between the background and your subject comes into play. But not just that, contrast in light and dark and stuff like that with the weather. But when it's more grey, you're more looking for backdrops and people like that. So, with black and white as well, you can find that a lot of your distractions that you would have in a color image are gone, pretty much. You can really isolate what you want the viewer to see in black and white because of the tone and the shadow and the depth. And a good way of even improving that further is using leading lines and blocking to get exactly what you want from the frame. So down that alleyway, for example, is a person, and rather than using the whole alleyway and just shooting down the alleyway, you can use this wall and a pillar to sort of frame the subject even more. And because there's no color in the image, a lot of the other colors seem a lot more flat, they're all more one-toned, and it highlights the subject a little bit more. That's the same as if you were getting shadows and silhouettes. Because you've got silhouette against the contrast, it allows you to isolate that subject and highlight them against their background and whatever they're walking through. So use leading lines, use shapes, and the blocking technique to really hone in on your subject, and it works far better in black and white photography than if I was standing in the middle of that pathway compared to being off to the side a little bit. I can really work my subject a little bit more. I've just stopped in Fortnum & Mason's because whenever I walk past it I feel like the compulsive need to go and have a look at the things inside, because it's a really nice shop. But there's also a really nice spiral staircase down the middle, and if you've watched my videos where I talk about one new change in spiral staircases, you know that I really like them. It's a really nice way to get a good perspective, and if you go to the floor above or 2 floors above of the staircase, you can get a really cool top-down perspective shot of people walking. And that's another point. You can really play with perspective. Whenever you're shooting, if you're always shooting here, you're always going to get similar photos, right? So change your perspective a little bit. Shoot from the waist, shoot from down low, shoot from up high, top down, low down, shooting up. It really changes your pictures. And if you're doing it with your monochrome photography, combining the other tips I've talked about so far in this video, it can really change up the way you shoot. It makes it a unique perspective, a unique picture, and a really cool one, because adding all the techniques together creates a really cool image. Because of the fact that you are limiting your distractions with black and white images, that also means that you can enhance your ability to storytell with your images. Now, I went into detail on different types of ways to storytell with your images in a previous video, so if you want to watch that, I'll have a link on screen somewhere. But yeah, it's a really good opportunity to really enhance your storytelling abilities. Look for facial expressions, look for what people are doing, blowing smoke out with a vape or something like that, just to give a bit more depth and interest to your image. And then all of the other things that I mentioned in that other video can really enhance your storytelling abilities. And because it's black and white and there's limited distractions, people are more drawn in to what you're actually looking for. That leading line look with blocking and all that I spoke about earlier is the best way you can really isolate your subject. And it doesn't have to be a subject in the distance either. It could be subject really close by, just by blocking out unnecessary distractions, and with tones being all the same tone with black and white for the most part, you ain't gonna notice scratches in a wall or something like that, or the paint isn't quite matching up. You don't notice that. So there's minimal distractions and maximum opportunity to tell a good story. And lastly, as a main point, you really need to focus on lighting your subjects and everything like that, lighting your scene well when it comes to black and white. You haven't got color to rely on, whether, you know, a pop of color is going to make or break your picture. You're going to need to rely on light for that. So whether it be natural light when the sun's out, you can use that to backlight your subjects. Again, it's another video all on lighting on the channel as well. But I'm more talking about artificial light as well. Every artificial light is now going to look white and bright. So Even if it's the dullest of lumens, if it's deep red, it will still look bright when you're coming to shoot it. So you can backlight your subjects that way and just have a little bit of leading lines with the light and just really follow the light when it comes to shooting. Shooting in black and white at nighttime with lights going on and framing your subject with light, and it can really make your images pop even if there ain't any natural light around. When it comes to natural light though, you really do want to focus on backlighting for those silhouettes, side lighting as well to get those textures. I wouldn't bother with the front lighting unless you're really going for portraits. Side lighting is going to get a bit of definition to your subject, so if you're coming straight front on, that will be your best bet, and then backlighting for any of those moody silhouettes that you see so much in my work. Other than that, as I said earlier, really focus on black and white in your head when you're going out shooting, and that is the main point. That's the main thing over everything else. Everything else is transferable from color to shooting in black and white, but you really need to make sure your camera is dialed in for all of those black and white styles of photography. You know, you've really got to look for tonality. You've really got to go out with black and white in mind. Don't look for colors, don't look for anything like that. Look for light, look for shape, look for definition, look for texture, and then your images will pop a lot more. You can't just turn every image from color into black and white and it look amazing just because it's monochrome. That isn't how it works. You really need to go out with an idea in mind that it's going to be a good black and white image, and that's why I set my camera to show me only in black and white, because you're seeing everything else in color. You really need to see what it's like in black and white before you press the shutter, and as at that point you know that it's a good image as you're taking the shot. It's not so much when you go home and edit, that's when you know it's going to be a good shot. You should know there and then that's a good shot because I've got this and this in mind, and that's the main thing. So thank you so much for watching. If it did help you out, likes always appreciated. That's it. It's starting to rain. I'm going to go and get some more black and white photos. You've seen some of my work from today and also previous works shooting black and white. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.